Mass media and pop culture play a huge role in legitimizing cultures, and we're seeing a new generation of Indigenous creatives show us how they're both preserving their culture while bucking old stereotypes. Joining me to discuss this is co-creator of Supernatural's modeling and founder of Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, Joleen Mitton. So happy to have you with us, Joleen. Earlier this year, you co-founded Supernaturals, a modeling agency in Vancouver that represents Indigenous models, the first of its kind. So can you talk to us about the significance of the name Supernaturals and why you decided to create it?
Yeah, well, I guess the reason why I really wanted to start Supernaturals with my co-founder, Patrick Shannon, was because we just didn't see a lot of representation out there for Indigenous people. Like, you didn't see a Indigenous person at a Tim Hortons commercial or a bank commercial or anything like that. And I'm growing up as a model myself and not seeing any people that looked like me or looked like my grandmother or mother was very troubling for me. And also, after creating Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week, I kind of made all these models who are looking to get into the industry. So I just had to make another container that was still safe for the people that I'm representing. So Supernaturals became this beautiful, like, natural segue to get into like the, I guess, the modeling industry again. Like I've gone and come back like so many times, but I keep on answering the call, basically, for trying to represent, try to keep people safe within a very challenging industry. I think using fashion and culture and identity, I think that's been really, really, really powerful for Supernaturals and like the models that are walking in Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week.
Compare to me the experience of Supernaturals versus when you were a model. What was that experience in the industry like?
Oh, it was a very abusive relationship in some sense. Like, I got to get out of, where I'm from. I got to live over in Asia, and they had to lie. Like, they lied about my ethnicity a lot. They said I was half Asian for a lot of my career. The typical stuff, like they asked you not to eat. They would ask me to get my skin whiter than it already is. Coming from an Indigenous household, and both of my parents being dark and my grandmother being dark, like just being the odd one out, and just like having to be celebrated that in the industry, it was very interesting to kind of go through. Just having that experience has changed and how I look at the world as well. So makes me very protective of people that I'm working with.
Yeah, I admire the fact that you're creating that safe space so that the models on your roster do not have to worry about that and they're safe from harm. That is fantastic. Now, you have a lot of experience mentoring vulnerable Indigenous youth, and you say that culture saves lives. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, like watching a lot of my youth and even my mother, because she's a 60s kid, kind of struggle with their identity. And I think a lot of that has to do with like not knowing like where you come from or like your auntie's stories or anything like that. I just really feel like culture really does save lives in terms of like grounding you. Knowing where you come from is really, really important. And I just think that's what saves lives, because people are looking for purpose, and we can kind of do that through an Indigenous worldview. And yeah, that's what I've found. Like, that's the formula that works. I'm trying to keep people safe and alive, and the way to do that is to get into your own culture.
Yeah, we need an anchor, right? Or we're just floundering around. So it sounds like you're doing a lot. Is there pressure that comes with being a leader and role model in your community?
Yeah, like for sure, there's definitely pressure. But then I just you have to answer the call, right? So I'm just answering the call. It gives me purpose. At the end of the day, it is very like rewarding, and like doing that good work to make sure that people know that we're still here and that we are, a beautiful people, and yeah, just like all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Joleen, thank you so much. This is Great information, and you're really inspiring and have like a big voice in just shifting the culture in the eyes of everyone else. So thank you so much, Joleen. I really appreciate that.